Hello, it's me, my schizophrenic room of all the garbage you can possibly have ever, and cables everywhere too. So, uh, I did some modifications, I did some testing, some dumb testing, some absolute schizophrenic level wire management that's temporary, but mostly just like I said, testing. And I got my Famicom here, my Super Famicom, the Japanese one, Junior. And yeah, I use a GBS-C, which means I deal with hell constantly with stupid bullshit. And this particular one from AliExpress, which was cheap, I think I got it for $50 on sale. Typically they're like 60 something, but this time around I got it for cheap. And obviously there's some issues with this thing. If I built it myself, it would have been probably messier looking, but this thing has a pretty bad HDMI out from factory for whatever reason. They just use a shitty encoder. So what I had to do was I had to do some absolute schizophrenic level shit. I had to get a splitter cable. Well, first I bought a nice Manuel cable that just outputs 5 volt 4 amp. And I went overboard in the amperage. I was actually going to get a 5 amp one, but I just went with 4 amp because I don't think I'm going to do anything more with this than what I'm doing. And I just got a splitter cable for it. And then from there, I actually bought a little bit more of an efficient cable. This one's just, I ordered the wrong cable somehow still by the end of this, but right now it works really well. But yeah, I ordered a USB one, so I have an extra one somewhere here. Let me grab it. I threw it in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I bought one of these barrel jack adapters that convert from this 5 volt one to a USB-A adapter. And from there, I plugged it into this VGA to HDMI adapter right here. And as it turns out, the VGA signal off the GBS-C is pretty much a raw signal from this RGB connection, which I have my own custom fucking RGB to RCA adapter, which is then plugged into my Famicom. Like I said, cable fucking hell, total autism. I should have just went with SCART from the get-go and just bought cable heads and made my own, but I fucking didn't. I didn't want to do that. I kind of prefer just RCA because reasons. But yeah, I then just convert that to a SCART cable. I could also just plug into the RCA connections right here too, which would work. But for right now, I've just been experimenting with this, SCART adapter. But yeah, then I just use the VGA out, which like I said is just the raw signal from this, but just upscaled to 1080p right now, which I think it is. I go into here, current settings. Yep, 1080p, 60 hertz RGB. So that's what I'm just doing. And then I have that converted from HDMI, because like I said, the HDMI converter in here is kind of shit and garbage. So I don't use that anymore. I'm not even going to bother section it and actually get way more, I get way more use out of the VGA signal than the HDMI one out. The only advantage the HDMI one has is the audio. But if I just, use the SCART connector and go to the audio out from here, which I think I bought another fucking adapter piece, which I know, but it's gonna replace this one. I'm just gonna use this for computers and stuff. But the one I just bought has an audio jack in, so then I can just plug it in from there to next to that, and then it will go to the HDMI. So right now there's no audio, but the picture quality is absolutely 10 times fucking better. I mean, obviously video can't quite necessarily capture it. Let me turn that down. But there's zero noise. And I used to get a lot of noise on the green line, especially, and a little bit of the red and 5 from the GBS-C through the HDMI. And now I'm not getting that noise anymore. I don't fucking see it anywhere. It's a complete, clean image. And I can even show one of my presets here. This one's a little dimmer, but it showcases the color a little bit, I think. Better. Yeah, there we go. Look at that gradient. Absolutely clean. And, yeah. Like I said, I was experimenting and I just was noticing the VGA out. It's just way cleaner. It's just pretty much a signal from here, but upscaled 1080p. So my cables are zero noise from as far as I know and what I've measured. But yeah, now the image quality is absolutely perfect, which I've been kind of battling with this thing for a year now on that because of the HDMI out. Because I was like, why is there noise everywhere? And that's because the HDMI encoder is kind of fucking garbage. And all it took was this much effort. Should I have built one? Probably, but I also just don't mind tinkering and figuring out what's the issues of ground loops and whatnot through my adapters. But yeah, And if I really want the audio out, I could just do this. I have a speaker system somewhere here in my house. There we go. And yeah, I have these RCA adapters. So, like I said, I bought a 2-pack of these right there. So this turns into the RCA from the headphone jack. And that's another project I'm actually working on. If I really want, if I want to use the downscaling properties of this thing, which is actually really nice, I use it for my Dreamcast, for instance, from a 480p source, and turn it down to 240p. Sonic Adventure looks fucking awesome on that. But then I can use one of these adapters right there, and then boom, I can just get the raw audio signal from there, from left and right, and then I can use the component cables that I have over there on my TV plugged into that box, and then just use the downscale component feature, and then just get component out from the VGA signal. There's a Saturn one, but that's a lot of cable length, and I'd rather just plug it straight into my GBS-C here. So yeah, I just get a kind of a slimmed down variant of this, and if I really don't want to use all this barrel jack shit, I can just take this out, unplug that, just plug in the manual, plug it directly in there, and then boom, I get kind of a cleaner output from just component right there. And with a little bit of adapters. At least I perfected this one with the purchases, with the headphone splitter and the VGA out. And I also have a VGA to component cable somewhere. But yeah, that's kind of what I did. And that works well for me. And I have no more issues with this thing because I was battling uphill with noise and ripples and shit from the HDMI. And yeah, I kind of just fucking took it out. Not like literally took it out, but I'm not going to turn that on anytime soon. I'd rather just deal with this converter setup and whatnot than try to find why the fucking video is dirty. It's just the encoder the entire time. But yeah, don't do what I do. Just use SCART cables, really. I don't really regret it personally because, like I said, my setup is more optimized with RCA. But yeah, if you have issues of noise on this sort of model of GBS-C, I would recommend first removing these potentiometers from here. Just desolder those and just cross. I really can't get a picture of that in there. Maybe I can. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, there's no way to capture it. But from there, you just remove the potentiometers and then get some solder blobs and connect those two solder points from the potentiometers from the output to the input, and then yeah, you just get the raw signal. And not deal with that shit, because yeah, those potentiometers they ship with aren't that good. And then you can just kind of plug in whatever you need to, from VGA to RGB and whatnot, and component, of course. And yeah, I'll probably post another photo or somewhere else of the actual final setup, because I'm not going to use this. Like, this isn't bad, actually. As you can tell, it's a good converter. It's just, like, not as good, because I'd rather just have a headphone jack plugged into the output in there and then just put it through the HDMI. But for now, it'll work, and I'll just deal with left and right audio from there. And plus, that package is going to come in, like, a couple days, so it's only a couple-day wait. But like I said, I don't really even use this thing that often, because I have kind of a Sony Wega right there. And that's my main thing. And then dealing with that a little bit, because I've been using this little converter box, the component one, and I've been dealing with some dirty noise stuff. I might post something about that if I find a solution for it. But yeah, from what I've tested of this Meanwell here, it's actually not the cleanest signal still, despite being a Meanwell. They're known for pretty good power supplies and having good caps in them, but somehow at the end of the day, from my standard setup, the PS Vita cable reigns supreme still, which is like aggravating, but it is what it is. It works what I need to do, and plus on the CRT especially, you don't see the issues. But on the Meanwell, I do see a ripple. Kind of over explaining that part, but I'll post about it later. But yeah, for now, my setup is pretty fucking good. I'm happy with it. I mean, shit, man. There's not much you can complain about with that output. I'll just plug it back in real quick and show it again. What's up? Shows up. Any minute now. Any minute now. Did I not plug it in all the way? Oh, I don't lie, because I didn't plug in the barrel jack. Yeah, give me a second. But boom, bada, bing. Okay, there we go. Plug that back in. Now we should get a nice signal. Boom, right there. Perfect image.